the question that I have is, and this is, I guess a related question. A woman, three children, three different baby daddies. Um, she's struggling financially. She's not the brightest crayon in the box mentally. Um, should she be picky?
They are.
Does she deserve to be on a show? I mean, anybody could be on a show like that, but does she deserve to go on a show despite her circumstances, right? And be picky and be popping balloons.
That's a good question. That's an interesting question.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, cause yeah, they want love. You know what I mean?
yeah, and they deserve. Everybody's
And
deserving of
deserve
love.
love, right? So
Yeah,
like, yeah, how did yeah, but do you be picky?
You still want it on. A lot of them still want it on their own terms, though, and like that.
Yeah.
You can't necessarily have it. Like there are some either really nice or really stupid men, depending on how you view it, that will pretty much scoop up damn near anything or anybody if they feel connected to it.
yeah,
Like I felt connected to that little cat, you know what I'm saying, out the burn joint, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, yeah.
there are women that can get men in that way as well.
Hmm.
Um the goal of a an intelligent man, in my opinion, is to not get caught up in some shit like that,
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
you know.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
It happens.
to each his own though. It definitely happens, man. Like shit,
Mhm.
The Siamese twins are married.
But what about the guy that has the multiple kids and like Future's baby mamas and stuff, mamas and them, and the chicks? I mean, I know they going for a check and stuff like that, but that how many kids Future got?
I think 12.
Jeez.
Okay, so that 13 chick, knowing that, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if Future take care of his kid. I'm not gonna say he doesn't. You know what I mean? But knowing that he has all these children, and you end up, he still gets to pick the type of chick he want. And like, just imagine that he wasn't Future. And he's just a regular dude. You know what I'm saying? And he has all these children. Does he has a right to be picky?
Yeah.
I think anybody has a right to be picky. You know what I mean?
That's the question I need to ask. And I'm trying to figure out, like, you know, I'm basically reversing the dynamic of what you're saying on the ask of the three women, three different baby daddies,
I
and they're being picky. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I think anybody reserves the right to be picky and have specification in terms of what they're looking for in a potential mate or
Mhm.
spouse, whatever it might be. But as they have the right and reserve the right to be picky, the people that they're potentially selecting also has the right to have standards and specify what it is that they want.
Absolutely.
And I think the issue happens when perhaps those things off kilter. You know what I mean? So if you have in the case like what you're saying with Future, let's remove the idea of Future being a famous music guy, right? And just being a regular dude, right? There's plenty of cats out there that they got 12, 15 kids and they don't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out, but they managed to
They
continue.
all chose. Go ahead,
Yeah,
dude. Sorry.
yeah. They managed to always find themselves in positions where they're in short-term relationships with women that result in pregnancy, and then they're not around, and the women understand who they are, right? And their inability to be a provider or be a good mate or whatever, but they choose to go in relationships with them anyway. And what that all boils down to is everybody has choices, but not everybody considers their choices when intimacy is involved. For some reason, the idea of being able to be reasonable and pragmatic when intimacy is involved tends to go out the window. And then the consequence is the child, right? Unfortunately, the consequence is the child,
Mhm.
and then there's no relationship that occurs after that, and that's not a bad thing because there's plenty of situations where a man and a woman get together just on a humble or one night stand, and they get together and create a child, but they both play very active roles and positions in the child's life.
Hmm.
But that shit doesn't happen often enough,
Right.
particularly in our community. So if we have people that that stop thinking with their genitals and thinking with their head before they get into these situations,
Hmm.
we'll be able to mitigate a lot of these
Mhm.
consequences, so to speak.
But I'm thinking like like there's a male shortage, right?
Okay.
A
You
lot of
mean
cats
you mean you mean a reliable
available.
male shortage? You're saying, right? A reliable, good male shortage. Is that what you're saying?
A lot of good men are getting married. So
Right,
like,
right, right.
and then there's a lot of men that's in prison,
Yeah,
and then there's a lot of men that's actually going across the street over there. You know what I'm saying,
right.
for that one meatball and stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they hopping the fence. Got it. Yeah.
So like like these
Or
women
staying
are,
on the same side of the fence. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, there you go. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
One noodle off the plate, but I've noticed, like, you know what I'm saying, like if we're using the future scenario or the Nick Cannon scenario, without the money, without the fame,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that
yeah,
these guys exist and they all choose the same dude,
yeah.
even though you know that this dude got a kid and he had another kid, y'all
Right.
still end up choosing the same dude. Y'all still having irresponsible sex,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
no condom, and happy that you had his baby.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of people that does that. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? I could sum that up very succinctly, and that is remember 50 Cent song, have a baby by me, baby, be a millionaire.
Mhm.
That's what those women are thinking, perhaps. So it's
Without
not.
the element of fame, you talking about the
Well,
guys that without the element of fame?
no, I'm talking about the fame guys. Is that not what you're
Okay,
talking? You're talking about the the,
You
the
talk
regular.
about the regular
Okay,
cat,
I'm sorry. I'm
regular
sorry.
dudes
I'm
that's
sorry.
just
but
having like
I think
18 children.
I think what's missing though from the conversation, like we look at it sociologically, right? And we look at it like, okay, well, kids, money, it's a business situation. Like if the dude doesn't have money, what are you doing? If he does, that's why you're doing it, that sort of thing. But there's also a biological component. You can just be attracted to a motherfucker,
That's true. That's true. Z. Yep.
right? Like you can really just be physically attracted to somebody, and you sync up in a certain way that tomorrow you're like, yo, oh my God, what did I do? But everything seemed right in the moment, right? And
Yeah.
there's a and that's a very real component, right? Because we're not that far off from animals. We are animals.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
see it, you take, you take a dog to the dog park, like you understand how primal the urge to just like clap some cheeks every now and then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason, like, God has a sense of humor and shit because, like, that's how we're born. And it's like so crazy because it feels so good, but it also is the most consequential shit that you could really do with another person,
That's right.
you
That's right.
know. And it's just it's crazy, man. But I think what's missing when you see a lot of those cases with the bum ass dude that has 4 baby moms, on his way to 5, and he's a greeter at Walmart or something like that. Like the brother brings something else to the table that as men we might not understand, but as like with women or whatever the fuck he's doing, whether that's a level of protection and she feels like, okay, yeah, he's a bum and shit, but ain't nobody fucking with me when I'm with him,
Yeah.
or whether this motherfucker has a dick that's 2 inches from the ground,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
or whether his charisma is just off the chart, whatever the case may be, like there's something to these cats. So from a be fruitful and multiply perspective, a lot of underperforming brothers are blessed. I think that the question becomes, is it more about quantity that we need as far as like a village of black men? Do we need quantity or do we need quality? Because I'm of the mindset that we need quality, which is why kids can't just saying like, oh, I'm pregnant. Like, that's not a fucking celebration. Like, are you in a position,
Right.
you and the person that brought this baby into the world with you or bringing this baby into the world, are you in a position to raise a upstanding young black man or woman?
That's right.
Because those that aren't, like, we have a ton of trash around us, man. It's too much trash, frankly, and shit, man. So, like, pregnancy is not a. I don't get excited about that. I look at the quality of the parents and shit, and then gauge how excited I am. You know what I'm saying, based on who's pregnant.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's a good point. See,
Yeah, there's more gender reveals than there are marriages.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good one. That's right.
No.
That's right. And I guess listen, what was once normative, based on what society dictates. Those things change, shift. You know what I mean? We're constantly experiencing a shift in what's normative behavior, societal normative behavior. Because people's interests change. Not just career wise or professionally, but socially too. So, and that's cool. The main thing is that if you are creating a child, to Z's point, both parents are capable, not just financially but emotionally, to be there for the child and raise a responsible child. You know what I mean? So yeah, that makes sense.
So like you said, we're talking about quality and quantity, but we're not talking about polygamy.
Cute.
So that's what that is.
We are now.
You know what I'm saying? That's what that is. Like, you have multiple families.
Yeah, you know what's a great? Can I just interject here? Just 1
Mhm.
second, because this is so relevant. So I know that this happened a couple of weeks ago, and I'll hold your thought. I know this happened a couple of weeks ago, but my wife and I just watched it last night. The season finale for The Shy. Do y'all watch The Shy?
I was watching it. It's a really good show, but I didn't watch the
Oh
new
man,
season.
it's an awesome show.
I've
What
heard
about
it's
you, Z?
good.
Oh, very, very good. So I'm saying this to say, the season finale was a Thanksgiving celebration type thing where everybody is house hopping. And for people that have watched The Shy, there's a lot of
Open relationships.
intermingling and open relationships, right? And you can see all of the result of these relationships showcased in the season finale of The Shy and this Thanksgiving thing. So I just wanted to make that point. And then there's a point where the two women, Tiff's mother and Rob's mother, are at Thanksgiving, and they're talking about how their generation, women or families, stuck it out despite the adultery that might have existed, particularly on the man's part, but they stuck it out because they believed in keeping the family structure in keeping the traditional family structure intact for the benefit of the child.
Right.
And then one of the other parents said, well, these kids are clearly not doing it, right? But they appear to have their shit together more than we had ours together.
Mm-hmm.
And they're happy. So they're not getting married. They're not even thinking about getting married. They're sort of haphazardly having children with one another and entering into these relationships with him and her and him. And then the two women have become friends. And then that woman goes and sleeps with another guy, and then they have, blah, blah, blah. So they have this extended blended family, and they're happy. So that's an example of, the redefining of the family structure and it becoming normative,
right,
based on how people are living their lives now. So I just wanted to say that.
But I'm looking at it like there's a lot of like segmented families out there, but they're literally families.
Yeah.
And and it's bad when all these kids are yearning for their father,
Yeah.
and their father's not able to be there due to whatever situation happened between them, right?
Right. Right.
When they needed to stick it out. Now, pause. Shit.
I wasn't gonna say
But
that, but
yeah,
I wasn't gonna
Dame,
say it.
Dame, Dame Dash talk to me, bro. You know what I mean? But it's crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you know that the guy's out there, you know what I'm saying, being a Rolling Stone, you know,
Yeah.
and you accept him or you get mad at him, but you still stay with him. So why don't y'all just be in a relationship?
because he's a Rolling Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Stones are able to roll for a reason. Once a stone stops becoming able to roll, it doesn't roll anymore. You know what I mean? Like whether that's a woman that puts a stop to it,
Right.
whether it's the man's dick that puts a stop to it, whatever, whether it's maturity that puts a stop to it, like something has to put a stop to the stone from rolling for the stone to stop rolling.
But I'm saying, if you have kids with these Rolling Stones, that you popping seeds in these women,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And he's rolling from one house to the next house and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Why isn't that a consideration
It should be.
in black culture?
It
You
should
talking
be.
Because
about a consideration on the woman's part?
yeah, all three. You know what I'm
Both,
saying?
right?
Because the child needs their father, right?
Yeah.
In the animal kingdom, like the lion has a pride, you know. It
Mm-hmm.
has its bottom bitch, and then it has other, and she regulates everybody else, right?
Okay.
And even the queen bee has multitudes of dudes, you know what I'm saying, that be running up in her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wait. I mean, okay. Yeah.
But think
Running up. I don't know if it's running up in the queen bee, but okay.
how's she having these babies?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. It might be
Somebody's skiing on her leg, you know what I'm saying?
eating on. Man, insert. He's skiing on my leg. When he's nothing on my leg.
But it's natural for a man to hunt. You know what I mean? And it's natural for a man to farm. And when they farm, and I know women hate this shit. So we'll see what happens. Right. But you plant the seeds, you grow the seeds, but you take care of the crops that you grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the seed, well, you know, you have like two different trees and stuff like that. They're not beefing with each other. They're just providing fruit. But you have to take care of the trees in order to get the repercussion of it. Men are not doing that. They just having this. They just planting the seeds and they just bouncing.
Mhm.
So now these seeds are growing rotten and being rotten fruits are not being, they genetically modified, whatever like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trying to frequently try to bring it in. Pause.
It. We're men are forced to. Black men are forced to operate outside of our nature as it pertains to um raising and nurturing seeds, though, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
money really throws a monkey wrench in so many things because
Absolutely.
you'd have a lot of people that would be incredible fathers if money were not an object, right? If money weren't the thing. But
Mm-hmm.
because for whatever reason they don't have high earning power, or their career has had like certain, downfalls, or they never got it rolling, or whatever the case may be, they were never able to really financially provide, and the system came and whoop their ass, whether it's getting locked up for that, whether it's
Child
um
support.
I mean, a child,
Mm-hmm.
like say, taking somebody's check, you know what I'm saying? So like they work for 40 hours or whatever, and they end up with the $5 check and
Dude,
exhaust from that.
I seen it. The
I've
dude
seen
at my
it.
job, this dude at my
I've
job
seen
had
it
a
too.
whole job, had 8 kids. This dude worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. He come home with $75.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know why anybody would have 8 kids. Anybody like that would have 8 kids. That's wild. But shout out to him. But the system,
I ain't got those problems. Fuck
the,
that.
the system wears men out, and wears well-intentioned men out. Maybe that brother just wanted a big family, right? But the way that we look at it, because of child support, because of the system, we looking at him like, man, that nigga's a fool. If this was 500 years ago back home, a
He
brother
would have
that
been popular. He would have been the popular dude in the village.
would have been the man. So you put currency and you put earning potential into the equation, the lack of generational wealth, but a lot of brothers that have all the charisma, all the dick, and all of the intangibles to really make a great father. If you take money out of the way, we have an empire of kings and queens again. But because
they know this,
we're so distracted. We're so distracted by this though, and the most masculine among us are attacked the most by this system, and the most masculine among us are able to finagle in a certain way. I'm not saying Future is the most masculine among us, but like he's a brother that he has a way with women. He has the money to deal with women. He's attractive to women, whatever. He's able to maneuver more so like the brother in the village that has the 12 baby moms, right? They're not baby moms in the village, but he has the means to do that. Whereas somebody that's, Joe Schmo or whatever that doesn't, we're looking at him like that nigga's life is about to be terrible because of the
right.
So it really flips things around. It flips the people that in indigeny we would admire most and turns them into a laughing stock. Whereas the brother, you know what I'm saying, they got, one kid that doesn't have any kids or whatever, we're looking at him like, man, that nigga's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that motherfucker would have been a failure in the village. It would have been that nigga.
You got one kid, nigga?
What is this? One kid.
I remember Z, you know what? Yeah. I remember some years ago, there was a young kid. Yeah, I mean, he was probably a young college kid at the time, and he and I got cool. We would have little conversations every now and again. He lived in the section where I live at, and he had said, he found out that my wife and I have 4 sons, and he was like, "Oh man, he's Indian kid, Punjabi kid, right, or Sikh, right?" And he was like, "Oh man, real cool kid, into hip hop and everything." And he was like, "Man, if you was in India, you'd be a king." You know what I mean? And it was the first time I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Man, you got sons, and you got 4 of them." And I was like, "Wow." He was like, "Man, you would be a king." And I'm like, "Wow, that's very interesting." That those that those societal family norms, still exist, and they're still tried and true and regarded and held in high regard in some of those other places throughout the world. So yeah,
absolutely.